I'm so happy you guys are here today. Thrilled to have you. So today we're going to be learning Everlong by the Foo Fighters. One of my favorite tunes ever. I love this song. So we're going to be learning that today. Let's get the guitar in drop D tuning. What do I mean by that? You're going to be tuning your low E string all the way down to D. It's just a whole step. Don't worry. So tune it down to D. That's going to be drop D. So those of you tuning in, I always like to know where you're tuning in from. But also, those of you who play guitar, let me know what your first guitar was. And if you don't play guitar, that's totally okay. Let me know your favorite song. All right? So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm so happy to be here. This is going to be a ton of fun. So, all right, we've got our guitar in drop D tuning. You're going to be tuning your E string all the way down to D. If you want to match it, it's a good way if you don't have a tuner handy, let's say. You can just tune it to the D string below. Okay, so we want those to match. So let me do this because I realize, folks, I don't even have the microphone on yet. Let's do that. So what we want to do here is tune our guitar to drop D. All right? And it's going to be awesome. So now that I've got my mic in place, let's have some fun. So the intro, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and then we're going to break it down step by step, chord by chord, note by note, okay? So here we go. I'll play it to speed first. Okay, that's the intro and that's the verse. So there's a lot going down in terms of right hand technique, okay, and what we're doing here with our left. Obviously with our fretted hand, there's going to be some stuff that we're going to talk about here too. So, all right, so let's go ahead and do this. Now, you're going to get your first finger, okay, you're going to put it on the 9th fret of the A string, okay, so right here. In terms of notes, this is our F sharp, okay. So there it is there. Okay, what we're going to do next, you can get your pinky, place that on the 11th fret of the D string. This here is our C sharp. So when we engage this first chord, we've got that open D string, we've got the F sharp, and we've got the C sharp. Okay, so that iconic first open chord, which is so cool from this acoustic version. Okay, so now what we're going to do here, and I'm going to do this very slow, because again, we can't play anything fast, we can't play slow. So we really want us to take our time here. Now, as you'll notice, I'm using my pinky here instead of my 3rd finger. Could you use your 3rd finger? Sure, you can. For me, I like to use this because when we get into the octave run that happens in the chorus, I like to maintain the same grip with my hand. So that's why I choose to play like this, but you can play with your 3rd finger as well, okay? So here we go, nice and slow. Okay, I'm going to do that again a few times. Those of you who are following along, grab your guitar. Let's go ahead and play. Again, nice and slow. See how I'm hitting that D string? And then getting the rest of the chord, that F sharp, C sharp? Okay, so again, we want to think, all right, Dave Grohl is a drummer, right? So I noticed in a lot of the ways that he plays, and even there's some great interviews, those of you who follow him and follow the Foo Fighters, he talks a lot about his guitar playing and how he thinks of it as a drummer and from a drummer's perspective. And particularly with this riff, it really sounds like a drum if you think about it. Right? You could think of it like a hi-hat snare thing or like a kick drum, right? It's very, again, this is very percussive. Okay, and again, we want to think like a drummer here. So I'm going to do this really slow again. Follow along. Let's get out of our guitar player shoes for a second and start thinking like a drummer. So here we go again. Okay.
okay? Now, if you'll also notice here, I'm not strumming really loud. I'm doing some palm muting. So notice I'm not doing this. Okay? I'm keeping it pretty mellow. Hear the difference? I'll do it again. Versus the palm mute. Okay. So this is a variation in sound. I really like peaks and valleys when it comes to the songs that I play and the songs that I write. I really like, again, to keep things interesting, to keep things moving. Because again, with an acoustic guitar, a lot of times we don't have a lot of effects to give us those peaks and valleys. So we have to rely on a lot of cool right and left-handed techniques with our guitar playing to help us tell the story we want to tell. So with this, particularly for the intro, I like to palm mute it. Because once we get to that chorus, it gets nice and big, and then we can go ahead and release that hand, okay? So that's the first chord. Now, second chord, super easy. All you're gonna do, first finger, we're gonna put it on that 9th fret of the E string. However, remember that we are tuned to drop D. So this note is no longer C sharp, okay? This 9th fret of the E string, it's not C sharp anymore. It's B because we did that whole step move, bringing the E string all the way down to D. So this is now B, B as in boy, when we place our first finger across the 9th fret. So the chord will sound like this. There we go. Okay? So all the move is gonna be like this. See how we did that? The strumming pattern is the same. All we are doing, we are lifting up that first finger to that 9th fret, okay? I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna do this slow, and I'm gonna do it fast. All right, those of you following along, thank you so much for being here. This is Angela Petrilli with the Riff Rundown with the awesome folks at Fishman. So here we go. First two chords. Okay, so there it is. Now let's get to the third chord. So 1 and 2. Okay, what's happening here? What are we doing? So this shape, right, with our first finger across the 9th fret of the E string and the A string, okay, and our pinky or our third finger on the 11th fret of the D string. Okay, we're gonna bring this shape all the way back to the 5th fret of the E and A string, and then your pinky finger or third finger on the 7th fret of the D string. The chord will sound like this. So what are the notes in here? Well, let's go ahead and break it down. We are in drop D. So this is no longer A at the 5th fret of the E string. This is now G, okay? Our first finger is still across the 5th fret of the A string. That is D. D is in dog, okay? And then your pinky finger is on the 7th fret of the D string, which is A, okay? So that's the move. So here we go from the top. So there we go. Again, Mark, I see you on the Instagrams. It is all about the right hand technique, okay? Because these chords are very open. It's again, we're thinking like a drummer here. We're thinking like a drummer, so be percussive, okay? So I'm gonna do this a few times. I'm gonna do it at varying speeds. Feel free to follow along. Go again. Okay, let's get to that 4th chord. All it is, so we're here at the 5th fret and the 7th fret. We're gonna slide back going to the 9th fret. Remember, this isn't C sharp anymore, it's B, okay? So we've got our B, F sharp, and C sharp, okay? So now let's do that whole intro. Here we go. We'll do it again. There we go. Okay, so that's it a little slow. Let's bring it up to speed. And how cool is that drop D string, right? Again, it's really, really pushing this rhythm. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So what we're going to do here is there's going to be plenty of times for questions. Those of you on the Instagrams and the YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff. There's going to be times during this lesson. Those of you who have questions, write them down in the comments because I am keeping track and I do see them. So write them in, those of you who have questions, and there's going to be certain, times within the lesson that I'll go in and I'll answer them. And again, those of you tuning in, so happy you're here. It says Angela Petrilli with the Riff Rundown, sponsored by the folks at Fishman. Yes, so fun. Those of you tuning in, guitar players, let me know where you're tuning in from and your first guitar. Those of you who aren't guitar players, let me know where you're tuning in from and let me know your favorite song. I see here, Speak Punk, my drop D skills doubled in 11 minutes. Yes, so happy to hear that. Cool, so happy to help. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this again. Again, slow and steady, the intro. This is the intro and the verse. Now, there's another little sneaky bit that happens here. There's this little suspension that happens. I believe it's like in the second or third rundown that he does. Okay, he does this little thing that goes like this, which is kind of fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how we do that. So we've got same strumming pattern as we did earlier. Okay. Our pinky, we're at the 11th fret, we're going to bring it to the 12th fret for just a second, and then we're going to bring it back to the 11th fret. So it's going to sound like this, slow. Here it is slow again. Here it is fast. Okay, so here's the whole thing. See? So there's that suspension. We'll do it again. Okay, so there we go. That's the intro and the verse. So we've got that down. So now let's go ahead into a bit of questions, okay? Those of you curious how I'm getting the sound, the gear I'm using, any sort of the techniques, those of you who want a bit of clarification, I'm here to answer some questions for a few minutes and then we're gonna get to that chorus, okay? So let's see where people are tuning in from, folks. We've got New Haven, Connecticut. First guitar was a Takamine acoustic, awesome. Got Nova Scotia in the house today. First guitar is a Blue Ridge acoustic. Bought it secondhand for 100 Canadian. Congratulations, Raymond, that's great. Awesome, awesome. Ricky, Don't give up, man. You can do this. I promise. This is a song you can get under your fingers. You can do it. Keep practicing. Keep practicing. We got Tampa in the house. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Folks are having a good time on Instagram too. We got folks learning this song. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. It's great. First axe. All right. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. We got Jake from Louisiana. First guitar was an Epiphone Les Paul Standard from 2001. First good guitar was an Fender American Vintage 62 Strat. Oh, and 3-tone Sunburst. Jacob, that's a pretty awesome guitar. Congrats, it's great. That is great. Very, very cool, folks. I love it. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for letting me know what kind of guitars you guys are playing on your first go around with the instrument. I absolutely love it. All right, let's see. Jeffrey, I'm a drummer and would love to play on guitar. Listen, hey, this is a great lesson to start with. Again, we're really thinking like drummers here today. Really, really focusing again on that right hand technique. Loving it. And we got Germany in the house. So, so cool, folks. We got Gavin from Switzerland watching and learning. Very cool. Okay, so again, keep the questions coming, folks. I'm going to run through them. I'm going to get through as many of them as I can during this lesson. So those of you who are just curious about certain things, how are you getting that sound? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? How are you palm muting? That sort of thing. Put in those questions and we'll definitely talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it and we'll get to as many of those as I can. So I know a few of you have been asking what kind of guitar this is. This is a Martin 00017E in black smoke. I absolutely love this thing. And it sounds particularly good in open tuning, I think. So today's lesson, it's been a lot of fun. Okay, and also using my favorite little silver box, the R Spectrum DI by the awesome folks at Fishman. So it's killer piece of equipment, guys. I don't leave my house without it when I got an acoustic gig. That is for sure. That is for sure. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get to this chorus. Okay, so here's what's happening here. We're engaging this thing called octaves. Okay, so those of you who are curious or like don't know what an octave is, okay? That's just a basic major scale, right? In this case, I'm doing it in C sharp. You'll see why in a minute. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? In a major scale, we have 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the 1 repeats, or the 8 or the 1. So from start to finish, those are my octaves, okay? This is something that we use a ton. You see this in jazz, okay? You see octaves come along in jazz, in rock in this case. They are a beautiful way to play a note twice. You have a version that is lower, and you have a version that is a bit higher in pitch. They are the same note, the same pitch, but one is low and one is high, okay? So with this bit of the song, octaves are being used here, okay? So that part that goes like this, okay? That's what we're gonna be doing here. Now, if you'll notice how I'm playing this is a really important part and an important technique on how to play octaves. It's something that we really want to practice, and this is a technique that we really want to work on if we want our octaves sounding nice and clear and good and unified. We want a good series of good unified strong notes. Now, we don't want to include all the other notes that are around, right? Because if we strum it, sounds a little funky, right? So we just want to keep the C sharps in this case. So how we want to play these octaves, and again, this is how I was taught from my awesome teacher, Jimmy Scott. If you're watching, Jimmy, love you, man. So we got first finger, in this case, let's start at C sharp. So that's going to be on the 4th fret of the A string, okay? So like that. Everybody good? 4th fret A string, yes. Okay, and then your pinky finger, we're going to put that on the 6th fret of the G string, which is also C sharp. Yes, because they're octaves, okay? Now, what we want to do here, the 2nd and 3rd finger, right? They're not playing a chord or anything. Octaves are just using 2 notes, right? So what we want to do, okay, is we want to go ahead, place these on top of the strings we do not want to press, because then it's going to sound a mess. We don't really want that either. We want them to lightly lay on top of the strings without pressing. They're acting as little mutes, okay? They are muting the strings, okay? So that we can go ahead and see how I'm able to strum, but I'm really only hearing the notes that I want. This is a technique that's really, really important when we're doing this chorus. Okay, guys, we really want to make sure that we keep those fingers there like that. So the riff for this chorus, okay, at least the octave riff, it's going to be C sharp. And again, I'm just going to play the notes and then we'll add the octave in a second. So C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, and we do this thing at the end of that riff, okay? So here's the first bit, get your pinky there, and yes, I know a lot of you, the pinky isn't the strongest finger. That's okay. For this song, we're really, really gonna build it up. Okay, we're really gonna use that pinky. I see a lot of my students when I teach online, right? They like to do this and you know, just use the middle finger to mute. We wanna use both. Again, look at how balanced the hand feels, okay? And also too, we really want to use this pinky finger because once we get down and octaves, we don't just play them on the E and A string, right? We can play them, you know, rooted on the D string and the G string as well. And the grip shifts because, you know, that pesky third between the G and the B string, okay? So that's where that shifts. But we don't have to worry about that in this song in particular, but I want you guys to have a good sense of the grip so that when you continue learning and practicing octaves, I want you to do that 2-finger mute, okay? So here we go. So we've got C sharp, and we're gonna strum it like that, down, up, down. Just like that. Then we're gonna go to D. Same sort of thing, right? Notice how this hand, my right hand technique, we're going back to that, right? Notice how it's not moving. I tell my students, and I see a lot of you watching today, it's like a windshield wiper, okay? So that's from C sharp to D. Now we're gonna bring that up to E. Okay? I'm gonna bring this down to tempo, or bring it down to tempo a little, let's do that again. Bring it down to tempo just a little bit. Okay, so you guys can follow along. I'm gonna do it slow and then I'll play it a little faster. So here we go. Okay, let's do that again. Now if you notice here, I'm doing it pretty wide, this strumming arm with my right hand. I strum pretty wide when I play acoustic. If you guys are a little bit more comfortable doing, you know, a shorter strum, that's totally okay too. You could do that too. Totally fine. Okay, so let's do that again. We're gonna do C sharp to D to E to F sharp. Notice how I'm not saying fret markers, guys. I want you thinking in terms of notes. It's good stuff. Okay, so we know that C sharp to D, half step, D to E, whole step, E to F sharp, whole step, folks, because E to F is half step. So E, F sharp, whole step. If it's on Jeopardy, you know the answer now, so you're welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. C sharp, D, E, F sharp. Here we go. We're gonna do it slow, then we're gonna do it fast. Okay, I'm gonna do it a few times, those of you following along, okay? One more time. Now to speed. Now, I'm muting everything, right? The only things I'm not muting are like the C sharps, Ds, E's, and F sharps, right? Now, if you wanted that droning D in there, you could do that. It adds a little bit more body, notice. If that's your thing, you really like it. I know a lot of times when I play it live, I like to add in that little extra lower droning D note as well. And those of you who saw my lesson last week, you know that I love that really cool droning D string, okay? So here it is with that droning D string. Here it is without. Okay, so now we're gonna do here is we're gonna add the little bit that comes after that G note, okay? So if we're keeping score, the F sharp and G, half step, yes. Okay, so here we go. Again, very quick, F sharp, G, F sharp, okay? Let's do that again. I'm gonna do it slow and then I'll do it fast. Do it a few more times. Follow along. One more time, slow. Now we're gonna do it fast. Okay? Not too bad when we break it down. That's something I say to my students all the time. You can't play anything fast, you can't play slow. I'd rather you take your time to go through it slow, build the really good technique. The speed will come, I promise. Let's set a good foundation. And then, you know, something else I say too, let's fill those fissures in the foundation of the technique that we may have so that we can just grow and just become better guitar players, okay? So here we go again. And then we have that right there, that E, okay? So let's go ahead and hear that again. Okay, but what's happening here is we're adding this extra A on top, which now changes what's happening here. This becomes an A5 chord, okay? It becomes a really cool sounding power chord, listen. What's happening? We're getting 2 octaves of A, right? So we've got here and here. Octave of A on the 7th fret of the E string. Why is A here again? Because we're in drop D. And then we have the other octave A on the 7th fret of the D string. Okay? Octaves. Then you have E on the 7th fret of the A string. Okay? And then you have E again on the 9th fret of the G string. So like, listen to how cool of a power chord that is. Isn't that neat? So that's what's happening there. So we've got the octave, run. Upstroke, like really just like Pete Townsend that. Okay. So let's do that a few times. I'm gonna go slow and then I'm gonna go fast. That's a quick bit, that F sharp to G and then to that A5. It's fast, okay? So take your time, okay? See what I mean there? So that's why playing these octaves with this pinky finger is really, really gonna help you in this transition because you're going from that F sharp to G, back to that F sharp to that A5, that awesome, really open sounding A5, okay? So notice how that pinky really it's like how do we want to put it here? It's really like a kickstand or, you know, something that is keeping everything up. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna play this nice and slow, folks. Can you go over that A5 power chord again? Yes, I sure can. Okay, let's go over that. Because these power chords we're going to see a lot in the second half of this chorus, okay? So here's what we're going to do. First finger, okay? You're going to use your first finger and you're going to use your pinky finger. Yes, okay? So first finger is going to go across the 7th fret of the E string and of the 7th fret of the A string and the 7th fret of the G string. So right there. That would be a pretty solid A5 chord, right? But we're going to add that additional E on the bottom. Okay, so we're getting octaves of A and octaves of E. Okay, so there we go. There's the chord. Okay. Thank you for asking that question. All right, I'm going to do this nice and slow. Okay, we're going to do the octave run with that A5. Okay, so folks, and again, if you got questions, type them in because I can see them, and we'll get to them in a few minutes once we finish this bit, okay? So here we go. We're going to do this a few times. Time slow. Now we're doing it fast. Okay? How's everybody doing? Yes, Prague Milk, we are playing Everlong today. Let me know, again, questions. Again, those of you tuning in, we are playing Everlong today. I am Angela Petrilli here with the Riff Rundown with the awesome folks at Fishman. If you're having a good time, be sure to subscribe to my channel and to the Fishman channels. They're really putting out some really, really amazing things with Greg and Thomas and Ken, and they just got really, really awesome equipment. And it's really good stuff. Be sure to give us a follow if you're having a good time, and give us a thumbs up if you're having fun, folks. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the whole thing that we've done so far, and then we'll go ahead and do a few more questions, okay? And then we'll get to the next bit in the chorus. So here we go. I'm gonna do the whole bit slow first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do it fast. Okay, so here we go. Time, and then we're going to do the chorus. Here comes that chorus. It is fast. Woo, it's a workout, guys. This is fun. All right, so here we go. Here it is fast. Here's Everlong. Good stuff. So there we go. That's the bit we've learned so far. And folks, if you have questions, let's go ahead and put those in. Instagram, I see you. Glad you guys are having a great time. Love it. Awesome lesson. Thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying it. Let's see. Someone just asked us in standard tuning. No, we are in drop D. We are in drop D for this one. Yeah, again, thanks you guys. Glad you are having a good time. So let me talk a little bit about what I'm using. I've got my Martin 00017E in black smoke. Love this guitar, super fun. What I've got in here is the Fishman Matrix VT, then going through an RS Spectrum DI acoustic imager. Again, that silver box that I talk about that I just totally love. That is what I'm doing as far as like the pedal and the imaging. That's what's happening here, okay? And then the amp, what I've got is a loud box Performer by Fishman being mic'd by an SM57 into a Focusrite and out to all of you. So that is the full chain. I saw that some of you were asking, so there you go. Okay, what's the easiest, so Jeffrey Shaw is asking, what's the easiest way to practice playing bar chords, and how thin are your acoustic strings on your acoustic guitar? Does it make a difference? Okay, Jeffrey, with this, I use late gauge acoustic strings. These in particular are D'Addario NYXL acoustic strings. I really, really like them. They sound really full, not too bright, because I don't like an overly bright guitar string. They're fantastic. I love them. And they sound really good. And I'm a pretty aggressive rhythm player, so they last. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So thanks for that question. All right, let's see. Doris, I missed the start. Will this be available to view later? Yes, this will be available to view later on YouTube and all of that good stuff. Be sure to subscribe to me and to Fishman. Okay, Jeffrey Shaw is asking, how do you tune down to drop D? Well, what you're gonna do, your E string, bring it down a whole step down to D in tune, and if you're not sure, just make sure you match with that higher D string that's already on your guitar. Okay, Brett is asking what size is 12s. 12s are light gauge for acoustic. They are light. Okay, so let's see here. Glad everyone's enjoying this and having fun. This is cool. Yes, guitar nerds love playing 90s too. All right. This is great, guys. Thank you so much for all the questions. This is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up the rest of this chorus. So far we've got the octave run into that awesome A5. This happens twice. So now this bit here. Let's talk about it. What are these chords? So we're going to do here, first finger. Again, we're going to be seeing these really cool, those open 5 chords, those really cool, interesting sounding 5 chords with the double octaves, okay? We're going to play them again here. So, okay, what chords are you playing? I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. So here's what's happening here. What we've got going on. All right. Remember, since we are tuned to drop D, this third fret, 9th fret of the E string, okay, is no longer a C sharp. We are going, that is now B. B as in boy. Okay, so that is 9th fret. You're going to put your first finger across that. Okay. Your first finger is still going to be across the 9th fret of the A string. Those of you following along, F sharp. Okay. Then we've got B again on the 9th fret of the D string. So your first finger is going to cover all 3 of those, kind of like we're doing a bar chord. Okay? Or like a regular kind of power chord. That kind of stuff. Power chords when we're in drop D. So that's what we're doing here. Okay? Your pinky, again, because we're doing that 5th, right? That F sharp that we're getting here. We're adding a secondary octave on top of it. So that's going to be pinky finger, 11th fret, G string, F sharp, okay? And that's how it should sound, folks. Again, for these chords, first finger, pinky finger, like that. Okay, so there we go. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play that. Now this shape, we're gonna bring all the way back, 5th fret, with our first finger across the 5th fret of E string, A string, D string. Should sound like this. Okay. And then your pinky finger going on the 7th fret of the G string. Let's talk about the notes we're playing. This is no longer A, since we are in drop D, it is G, G as in go. 5th fret of the A string, that is B as in boy. Your finger, right? First finger that's across the top 3 strings of the guitar. There's your other G, 5th fret, D string. And then pinky finger playing that other D on the 7th fret of the G string. Give me a thumbs up if you're following along. Hope you guys are having a great time, okay? Did we just hear Spoon Man? Almost. I didn't play it in the right key. It was almost Spoon Man. Okay. So here we go. So here's those first 2 chords. Now, what I do is I kind of lift up my first finger before I go to that G chord or that G5. Like I do that in really, really slow motion. I find it's something I do when I play this. If you wanted to keep it pretty, you know, your first finger down as you go to that G, totally cool. There's like a bit more fullness I have found when I play this when I lift up that first finger. So I'll show you what I mean. I like that little move, but optional. It's something that I like to do. Okay, so let's do this really slow. Okay, we're gonna come out from that octave run and then into that B to G. Well, let's do that final D chord and then we'll do that. And then you're gonna go to this D sus2. Guess what, since we're in drop D, play all those strings, folks. Just like that. So, what is a D sus2? How do I play this? Regular old D chord, okay? Those of you who are beginners, let's go ahead and just run through it real quick. First finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the G string, that's your A. Third finger, 3rd fret B string, that's your D. And your second finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the E string, which is F sharp. But since this is a sus2, we want to engage that E that is in the scale. We're just gonna lift up that 2nd finger. So the chord's gonna sound like this. I love good open chords. Oh, I love good open chords. That's a good one. Okay, so there we go. So here's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna play those 3 chords together nice and slow, okay? So we've got back to B5, G5, D sus2. We'll do this a few more times. Okay, here it is fast, here it is in context. Drop D really helps with this song. It really gives it that character and again, that really cool, droning, open sound. And it allows for these chords that we play, right? These B5, G5, A5 to sound really awesome, okay? So there we go. All right, so let's see. Any questions so far? I'm going to leave this open for a few more questions, and we're going to get to the last bit of the chorus. And then we are pretty much set here, folks. This has been so much fun. Again, Angela Petrilli here with the riff rundown by the lovely folks at Fishman. This has been a blast. If you're enjoying yourselves and having a great time, be sure to share this video and, you know, subscribe to our social medias. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and all that good stuff. All that good stuff. All right, so let's see here, folks. Yes, glad everyone is having a good time. Everyone is learning. Good, good, good. Jeffrey, getting interested on this. Love it, love it. I'm watching from France with my 8-year-old son and started playing guitar. Cool. Love to hear that, Lionel. Get the kids playing music. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this in context. I'm going to play it from the beginning. Okay. And then we're going to add on the rest of the chords. Here we go. And I'll do it slow and then I'll do it fast. Or let me do it slow. Here's the chorus. Here it is fast. There we go. So there's that bit. Now let's get to the last few chords in the chorus, and then with the rest of the time we have, I'm happy to answer as many questions as you guys have regarding the gear, the techniques that are being used in the song, and all of that goodness. Okay, so we've got the part where I promise not to stop. Promise not to stop when I say when. Oh. Just really, really, great lyrics, great tune. So those of you following along, we have played these chords before, okay? So what we've got here is that A5, okay? We've got 7th fret, remember it's drop D, so this is now an A, okay? You've got your E on the 7th fret of the A string and your A on the 7th fret of the D string. So those are being pressed with your first finger across, okay? And then pinky finger on that E octave located on the 9th fret of the G string. Bam, there you go, okay? And then since G5 is the next chord, if we know our theory, oh yeah, G is a whole step behind A. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. In terms of guitar, a whole step is 2 frets, so. Okay, Okay, so now we're at the 5th fret. That same exact shape. We're not changing anything. We're just changing where it is located. And obviously the notes, instead of being A and E, we are looking at G and D. G as in go, D as in dog. Okay, so that first finger is playing G on the 5th fret. The first finger is also playing D on the 5th fret. And first finger is playing the G on the 5th fret of the D string, pinky finger engaging that 7th fret of the G string, which is your D. Okay? So there we go. So let's put this in context. Let's play it, okay? So, and I'll slow this down. We're doing it fast for a second. I'll do it a little slower. Back to our intro. Okay, so what we've got here are the main meat and potato parts of Everlong. Now, there's that big part where we have that octave rundown, okay, and they don't complete it. They do something like this, okay? The part and I wonder, and he keeps going, when I sing along with you. That's what's happening there. Now, as you can see, I'm using that droning D to again add some body, okay? You can choose to do it or not to do it. I think it's kind of cool. So here it is without it. Here it is. And then you would go into so. Okay, so that's what's happening there. So that's, you know, part of that chorus that we played, right? They stretch it out, they stretch it out, they stretch it out, they build, and then goes into that chorus. Okay, it's awesome songwriting. It's really, it's just great stuff. So, and also that final chord that happens at the very, very end is the first chord we played, or they just slow it down a little. And they just played the top 3 strings, that's it. And then they let that go. It's good stuff. This is such a fun song to play. This is one of those I remember when I first learned it, was just so stoked on finally figuring out how to play this. So I hope you guys are feeling that too in learning this one. So, okay, let's go through the whole thing. I'm gonna abridge, you know, some of it just because, you know, I want to make sure I get to a lot of your questions and all of that good stuff. So here's what we've got so far, folks. that last part, oh my God, what did she do on that G chord? That's the only part of like that kind of alternate picking. Again, think about Dave Grohl. He's a drummer, so the way that he accentuates and strums guitar is very much catered to that very rhythmic, open, interesting beats and syncopation. It's very different than everything else we see in the song. And again, it's like the last second, that's this, penultimate chord is playing in the song. Okay, so have fun with this one. This is such a fun song to play. It's really awesome when you really get it down. So again, you can't play anything fast, you can't play slow, folks. Take your time, be gentle, be positive, all of that good stuff. Be a little patient, because it does pay off. It does pay off to really sit down and really delve into the awesome techniques that are involved. And again, this was a really fun one. If you notice, we didn't really do any wacky chords today. It was all pretty laid out, pretty simply for the most part. Again, it takes some technique. Also, to be mindful of where your thumb is when you are playing this. Keeping it towards the center of the neck is going to give you a really good balance when you're playing this. And again, keeping that intro palm muted, then once you get to that octave run, lift and allow that to really sing. And again, to have that contrast between the palm muted intro and intro and verse, and then get to that chorus, and it's nice and big. Okay, so again, just some little tidbits. Doomsday, are you live? Yes, we are live. Again, I really enjoy these. I want to thank the folks at Fishman. This has been just such an absolute blast. I really love doing these, and it's been really cool to get a lot of messages from all of you on how these are helping you play, and just again clearing up perhaps some things you were curious about with the songs, and getting it under your fingers is really cool. Because I know in crazy times like this, it's always nice to have some music to play and like good things to create and all that good stuff. So we've got some time left, folks. I mean, that's what I've got as far as Everlong by the Foo Fighters today. Again, I hope you really enjoyed it. Those of you who have questions, again, I'm reading them here. I'm going to get through as many of them as I can, and would love to help you answer some questions. Again, just as a quick thing to talk about, all right, gear I'm using, RS Spectrum DI. I've got the Matrix VT pickup in there, and then the Fishman Loudbox Performer is what you're hearing through the interwebs. It's good stuff. Again, it's I like to call it the Fishman trifecta for my acoustic playing. I love it. It's really good stuff. So be sure to check it out. Okay, so let's see. Chuck is saying thank you. Chuck on Facebook. Thank you so much. Missed the beginning, but I'll be watching this video over and over until I get it right. Hello from Montana. Love your videos. Thank you so much, Chuck. Keep at it. And that's what's so cool is these videos. This will be on YouTube, and you can just go and, all right, what did she do there? Let me pause it. Let me rewind. Take your time. Again, I am a teacher who's really all about technique, and just good technique, taking your time. Also, too, folks, I teach on Skype too, so if you're looking for some one-on-one consultation and a mentorship, as I like to call it, would absolutely love to help you reach your guitar playing goals. So you could reach out to me on my website too at angelapetrillimusic.com, and I'm booking students for like June. So if you want more information, visit the website, and my team will get back to you. We'll get back to you. Yes, repetition builds speed. Absolutely. Just make sure, again, you can't play anything fast that you can't play slow. So take your time, folks. Take your time. Baby steps. Baby steps in learning guitar again, because it's really all about awesome technique. And we want to make sure we build the best technique. I don't want you guys having to chase a clock. Or like, okay, I have to play, even when I'm just learning this song, I have to play it at exactly the tempo that it's recorded at. It's not necessarily true, because again, you're just going to be worried about, chasing the clock rather than getting good technique. So I would much rather you you guys just focus on really good technique. Okay. Let's see. Again, thank you all so much for the questions. Hello from Houston, Texas. Welcome, Steve. Hope you guys had fun. So should I play this as fast as I can to start off? Austin, I don't know if it'll be a good idea, buddy. My buddy Austin is on here. Awesome bass player. He's great. We're jamming tomorrow. I'm excited. So yeah, slow and steady, folks. Slow and steady wins the race. Always, always, always. Okay, yes, and the use of a metronome is really, really important too. It's that I like to tell my students, it's that little drummer that just keeps you accountable. And a trick for the metronome, something that I like to do, if like for this song, for example, look up the BPM, and this is something you could do on Google, and you just find out, okay, what BPM is Everlong in, whether the acoustic version or the electric version. I'm not sure if one is slower or faster than the other. Someone who does know, let me know, because I don't. I'm sure they're close. Find the original BPM that's been recorded in, and then split it in half, and then start practicing from there. There's some really good apps that can help you with, breaking down the speed, but it's still to pitch. And yeah, again, there's a lot of great ones. Yes, Matthew, those of you interested in Skype lessons, be sure to message, to visit my website, angelapetrellimusic.com, and there will be a contact thing there, and you can reach out to my team, and would love, love, love to help you grow as a guitar player. So yeah. Marco, where is Everlong? We just played it, man. You could rewind this later and watch it from beginning to end, all the good stuff that we learned today. Again, it has been an absolute joy teaching all of you. These are so much fun. Okay, so let's see. I mean, that's the end of the lesson, but if those of you have questions, I'll take a few more minutes here to answer your questions. Again, this is just so much fun. I really enjoy these a lot. Okay, gosh, we got India in the house. I love it. We have Italy in the house, Argentina. This is so cool. So cool, folks. Yeah, this is just a lot of fun. Again, I hope this was really insightful and that you learned some cool things today and got to play, or at least got to get an understanding of Everlong. And also, too, those of you who are learning, feel free to tag me and Fishman Music in your practice videos. Would love to see how you're coming along. Would love to see how you're coming along. Okay, what are you thinking of covering next week? Raymond is asking. Gosh, we're already thinking about next week. Let's see. It'll be acoustic. That's all I'm gonna say. Whether it's gonna be a 90s again or like a 70s tune, I don't know yet. But it's definitely gonna be acoustic, so have your acoustic ready for next week. And again, the riff rundown with me, Angela Petrilli, your host, is going to be every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific, Los Angeles time. If you're on the East Coast, 3 p.m. It's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. I'm glad. Thank you guys. I'm glad everybody has really enjoyed this again. I love to play, but I also really, really love to teach, and I'm just so happy everyone was digging this lesson. This is a fun song to teach. Again, one of my favorite tunes to listen to, one of my favorite songs to play. So again, really, really stoked for all of you to get to learn in this song. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, folks, if you guys enjoyed yourselves, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angela Petrilli Music. Subscribe to Fishman. They've got great stuff on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that good stuff. It is truly, truly a pleasure. I really, really enjoy this. It's just great to see people playing and doing good things and making music and putting more creativity in the world. It's really great. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a day, folks. Everybody enjoy your Saturday and Sunday where you are. Again, if you enjoyed yourselves, please subscribe to the channels. You can follow me. Again, all my info's on Angela Petrilli Music. Go there. If you're looking for one-on-one lessons, go there too. Be happy to teach you how to play and be a rock star. Yes. All right, folks. I think I'm gonna call it. Again, it is an honor. Oops, I hit my microphone. Sorry, Ryan. It is an honor and a pleasure to do this. Thank you all again so much. Same time, same channel Next week,